yesterday, a two-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, plug right in. It crawls its way under your skin. Just got found from the things they spout, and it won't make you shout. Give me that good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit. That good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the grounds with Giles, Jones, Slagle, Cappuccino.
Oh my God, you forgot my name.
I call you the real name because
That's right.
every time I call you your real last name, you look at me like,
The feds are on their way.
yeah, what are you doing,
Right.
man? You're killing me. So, hope everybody had a great week. Welcome to the most unique show here at 216 Creator Studios. Thanks for tuning in, coming and join us. What do we? Kent usually calls us a couple dumb guys talking about stuff.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. But
Welcoming Chris Pride to the house, to the table
yeah,
today.
welcome,
Morning,
Chris.
Chris.
And then,
We got to zoom in. Kent, the man behind the screen, Mikeless today.
his mic ain't working.
Well, we got 4 mics on the table.
All right.
Yep.
So scream really
Yeah,
loud,
take
bro.
his away.
Scream really loud. Or actually, yeah.
He
Chris,
can yell.
Chris and I will buddy up. Take 2 off. You know?
I'll be seeing the smoke coming off his head, but he can't say
You're
anything.
gonna have to give me the numbers so I can make sure I get there. Our advertisers, because we would not have the show.
This,
There you go.
this means kill Scott's mic. Okay. All right.
Is that it, the
Right.
high side?
Kill it.
I hope everyone had a great week this week. And,
Yeah, it was a good week.
Yeah. Coming in. Steve, welcome back. Welcome back. Chris, welcome in.
Thank you
It's
very
nice
much.
to have you in here.
Yeah,
So,
glad to
you
be
know,
here.
so Steve wasn't here for a couple of times. So we did habits last round.
Okay.
This is a continuation of habits.
All right.
So kind of want your wisdom to chime in on that. The magical Steve,
Makes sense. Yeah.
you know.
It's one of those things you can keep just discussing and going over and the goods and the bads. And the
What do we-
differences of it, right?
Give me an example.
Well, because Kent's writing a book on habits, and so we went through definition of habits and how everything worked out.
We research.
Yeah, he did all kinds of AI.
All
you know,
kinds of AI.
we,
That sounds
you know,
wrong.
why don't you grab a chair?
That
What's up,
sounds
Jared?
wrong. He did all kinds of AI. That sounds like a bad habit to me.
GPT or DeepSeek?
You know,
Deep
what he's doing is he's actually writing it because he's had a lot of good thoughts on
That's
on habits, and he's using AI to help him because between all the works in the studio and
Yeah,
It's
but
just
you also,
hard.
that's-
Games and
there's nothing wrong with that. You use what you have in front of you to help you,
100%.
and that's just going to help make it easier for people like me to read, right? To make it more down to earth.
right.
Yeah.
There'll be
Well, you got to
pictures.
edit it.
Right, there'll be
Right.
pictures. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I need
You'll be like,
pictures.
instead of just writing a 3-sentence long paragraph, why don't you just put this picture of a moron and go, you, right?
They'll give you good info, but you need
Right.
to edit it because it definitely does not talk like a person.
Yeah.
And that's a smart thing really to do, to think about it, because what you're thinking in your head, and maybe, and I fall in this all the time, how things come across of what I'm saying and the words that I use can be totally misconstrued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you look at something like that, it will really pull it together. So we can look at it and be like, I get it. And they look at something I probably wrote and be like, what did he say?
Yeah.
What? I'm done with him. You know what I mean? When it was a simple, hey, I like your house. You know,
Yeah, well, just like anything else, too. If you want to give a shout out to our sponsors before we even kick this off, that'd be great because you know it better than I do.
Yeah. So thanks to Natural Therapy Wellness in McHenry right there. It's 815-385-8190. Those guys are amazing over there. We use them quite frequently. If you're stressed out, just go on in there. They put you to sleep. They do so well over there. They
Yeah,
got
that's good stuff.
like 5 or 6 different therapists. I mean, they're right in downtown McHenry. So go check them out. 815-385-8190. 0. There you go. And then JH Flower and Events, 2 locations, one in Fox Lake across from the train station, and then here in McHenry, basically right across from the police station.
Yep.
Great people over there. $5 Fridays. Go in there, get one. Who doesn't like flowers? On just to remind them that you're thinking about them.
Little massage, little flowers.
There you go. Give her flowers and give her a gift card to go over see John or him, whichever, or yourself.
They're very nice at that flower shop.
Yeah, they're super
They're very,
nice. Yeah.
Have you been in there?
Oh yeah.
Have you?
Have you been to the new location? Fox Lake, they got one across.
Well, Chris
the
is a player, so he's got all these women lined up all over the place. He's bringing out.
Then you
flowers.
really need
No,
to be
I'm
that
old
flower
school.
shop.
So I went in there for a Sweetest Day last fall, and I'm like, you probably are probably super busy for Sweetest Day. She's like, that's not a thing anymore. I'm like, that's kind of embarrassing.
That's not a thing. I
but,
didn't know
yeah.
that's news to me. That's not
You're
a
like,
thing.
I'm from the 1900s.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I'm last century.
back when you gave a flower and a hug instead of
But she was very nice about it.
that's awesome. But yeah, we just want to thank them because without them, this show it's really tough to run.
Yeah, they
stuff,
keep it going. They definitely keep it going.
Yeah. So we can sit here and look at each other and tell each other we're wrong.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, if you want your live read out there, you want to sponsor the show too, we're always accepting more sponsorships. Feel free. Info at 216thenet.com. That's info at 216thenet.com.
Absolutely.
If you like what you see here today, go to the old Google box on the YouTube, hit that live tab for 216 Creator Studios. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for future notifications. We appreciate everybody's support. Bing.
I don't know if
I don't know
if they
You have
like
a better
what they
noise for
see.
that?
Is that your notification noise?
That's his.
I just picture you in the middle of the night creeping up to my bed and be like, ding, you have a message.
Well, listen, mine's a little more. His was like,
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
Like
the
a
old
Model
bite, the
T4?
old-
His is a little effeminate. It's more like, ding,
Talk,
ding,
talk about
you have a notification.
talk about last century.
he doesn't have the gray beard for a reason. So habits.
Yeah, we talked all about that last.
Yeah. Why don't you let us know what your thoughts are? Define habits and how to break or swap a bad habit for a good habit.
I mean, a lot of people talk about that, swapping bad habits for
Yep.
good habits. I'm not sure if that's even necessarily because a good habit, right? Like working out, all right, like you're still swapping the behavior, right?
Correct.
The habitual behavior. You're not working on the actual behavior of the habit. You're substituting it, which is like a Band-Aid. It's what I've always thought, especially I've always seen those people like, you get it. Like, they go to AA and they're like, really focus my mind. I hit the gym like 6 hours a day and work out. And it's like, that's awesome.
Right.
Definitely way better than being an alcoholic for sure.
Well,
But, like-
right. But if you're like, hey, I quit drinking, but I eat like 700 pounds of chocolate a day to replace it.
Yeah.
Not so great for you.
Yeah.
But you replaced
A bad habit with another bad
with
habit.
a not so much better habit, but healthier habit, realistically.
Healthy. Well, Kent brought up a good, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you have no mic. You said that habits are neither good or bad. They're just a routine, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, let me take the
That-
mic over there.
thanks.
What, dude?
Yeah,
Why don't you chime in on your phone?
He doesn't need a mic.
I can mic share.
Yeah.
Not at
Your
all.
input's always, okay.
Well, especially since he's writing the book, I almost feel like he needs to be over
Well, he
here.
kind of does, yeah.
But
Very boisterous though, like with the hand microphone.
he's a girls basketball
no,
basketball coach.
Which is
Like
awesome,
what?
Which is
Yeah.
awesome. By the way.
Yells really well. Oh yeah. He's probably one of the best coaches out there, man, no doubt. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You can pay me later.
Don't
Yeah.
worry if you're hearing weird stuff on your mic. That's just Kent.
That's right.
We locked him in the closet today. He started out too soon.
Chris, what about you, man? What do you think? Habit swapping.
So-
How do you define it?
Steve brought up some amazing points. You're not correcting the behavior. You're just swapping something else for something that is actually probably better. Now, I used to be the same way of like, not the best habits. I used to be a workaholic.
Yeah.
Kind of eating on the fly and stuff like that. Just like kind of not working out and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I had a very, very serious diagnosis.
Yep.
Last October. The symptoms started prior to that. But ultimately, after the testing was confirmed, it was stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Yep.
So immediately on a dime, So immediately, once it was confirmed, I went to the grocery store and I grabbed all my favorite stuff. So it was like caffeine-free Coke, which I absolutely love, eggnog because it was coming up on eggnog season and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then I did my own research, and it was like sugar, like free-form sugar, processed foods, and all that stuff is not good for you. So although I bought it, I did not touch it, and I changed all my bad habits on a dime.
On a
And
dime.
That's only because I had to.
No,
Only
yeah, you kind
because-
of got that wake up.
So
call,
last
huh?
episode,
Yeah.
last episode I brought up usually takes something tragic to make you
absolutely.
really kind of change your habits, because
Right.
your habits are your warm and fuzzies, usually kind of what you go to if you're a smoker, if you're a drinker.
Yeah.
And you know, nothing says, hey, if you want to survive stage 4 cancer or try to survive stage 4 cancer, you got to make
No,
a change,
it's-
right?
Right, and stuff like it's
Like,
unfortunate you have to have that.
choice.
Yeah.
You know, because
I mean-
most people just keep going and going and going
Yep.
until something like that happens. Going like for me, I'm infallible. You know, I think I'm, you know,
Right.
and I'm real, and it happens, and it's until that happens. Sometimes it brings you back down to ground. Hey, good morning, Don.
And Shayna.
Yep.
So I'm
Shayna's
going to
there
read
too.
what Don has written here. So it says, "Good morning, guys. Dictionary definition of habit: on an acquired behavioral pattern, regularly followed until it has become almost involuntary. The habit of looking both ways before crossing the street." Yeah. So some habits are you don't even think about them; you just do them, become ingrained in you. Other ones you actually have to think about and push. You know, brushing your teeth generally is a habit you don't think about. Going to the gym. You kind of think about it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
But then you realize, like, hey, that's a good habit, even though it just
Mm.
kills me or makes, you know what I mean? You have some of the negatives. You have to look at the two different
Yeah.
things
I
on
don't
that
want to leave
habit.
this warm bed.
Right. Well, and what you get out of it.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Brushing
there's-
your teeth,
Well,
you can
that's
eat
why
food.
major life events always change your habits, is
Right.
because it's about mindfulness, right? Like you don't think about a habit, that's what makes it a habit. It just you do it. It's involuntary, as the dictionary definition says, right? So you're just doing it and you're not thinking about it, and then you have to take stock of your life. So something major has to happen usually, and then you reassess.
Yeah.
And then because otherwise you're not being mindful. And most days we wake up, we make our coffee, we go through the motions of the morning, and sometimes you do that all day, and then you go to bed and you've literally just gone through the motions.
That breaks down to what Ken said last time too. You know, it's routine. Your habits become your routine, and or even identifying it as a routine. I guess it's just how you want to define it as being healthy or unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, some people might say their habit of smoking until the day they die is because they enjoy it. They want to enjoy doing something to the day they die.
Yeah.
But usually changes when something bad happens, like what happened to Chris, to where they're like, maybe it's
Well, they're
time.
having to look at it from a different
A different
perspective,
angle.
right? Because
Absolutely.
until you get that
Yeah,
slap
yeah.
in the
Right.
face,
No,
things are
absolutely.
right. And it's
Yeah.
like, why? And then you go, oh, wait a minute. Now you start looking at the repercussions of your habit
Yeah.
or your bad routine, whichever way you want to look at it.
See-
A lot of times we don't want to look at that. We just
Yeah.
blinders on, just keep rolling, right? Until you unfortunately get that shitty thing. And then you're just
Yeah.
like, all right, well, what am I going to do? I got two
Well,
choices.
you know, I'm not trying to out your situation here, but so one of the strongest men I've ever met in my life is Chris. Double lung transplant.
Holy Christ.
Which made him diabetic, right?
Yeah.
And so now stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and on liver, I think as well. So
Well, yeah, pancreatic spread to the
it
liver.
spread to the liver, and he's just, and his answer is, I'm still fucking going for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most people would be like,
Just
oh,
give
it's,
up,
it's
yeah.
over.
Right.
It's probably one of the strongest men I ever met.
Well,
in
and
my life.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's
between
the
people
worst
that,
mentality you can have.
Right.
You have to have that mentality
Yep.
of like,
your mindset.
this is
Yeah.
not, the doctors are not right on the timeline of the expiration of your life. And I don't want to get, I don't want to
Bash.
make it seem
Right.
like I was ignoring my problems. Like,
Right.
I was highly monitored due to my transplant. I was at the doctor at most once, at least once every 3 months. Every 3 months, it'd be probably 5 or 6 times. Constant blood work, all this sort of stuff. I thought I was in good hands. And so I actually asked for stuff and I was rejected.
Yeah.
like testing and stuff like that. And that led to, like we see this, but we're not going to do anything about it. We'll just watch it. I'm like asking about this, asking about this, asking about that. And let me get this straight. Like these doctors are say all. I can't go anywhere around here. My transplant was downtown. Anytime I got sick or COVID or something like that, or was not feeling well, I would pack up my bags and drive downtown to the ER if I was not feeling well, either having heart palpitations or something like that. Because no matter where I went here, my doctors are like, we either have to talk to your transplant team, but your transplant team wants us to transport you from here downtown to their hospital so they can overlook it. And the real gut punch was after not receiving the necessary care or attention to the complaining of the issue, they have the final word over my oncologist, over how I am treated due to my transplant meds.
Wow.
And so I don't want to drag everyone out, but
No.
when you told me about the show, this was like the perfect one for me to jump on because
Absolutely.
I didn't have the best habits, didn't have the worst, and I was actually really working to strive on changing my habits starting back in the spring.
It made a huge difference
It did.
for you,
Right. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And you even mentioned you did a Facebook post, a video Facebook post to all your friends saying, "Hey, this is what's happening to me, and this is what I'm doing." And then a follow up to that was like, even if I didn't have cancer, holy crap, I have more energy from changing my diet, from what I do on a daily basis. And I think I talked to you on a phone not too long ago where you're like, even though I'm really not working, I am more busy now.
Yeah.
Your day is filled, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like, so I immediately, once the diagnosis came through, I immediately took a leave from work. My brokerage is absolutely amazing and supportive. I have an amazing support system of family and friends, Drew being one of them.
Yeah.
My dad is hugely.
Dad's awesome.
And yeah. And then, but it's like a full-time job is right now is my health and dealing with hospitals, dealing with insurance, dealing with all sorts of things, like food prepping. I switched from quick stuff that I could like stopping at my favorite fast food place or something like that. So now I'm vegan, organic, which is a lot more expensive and a lot less tasty. I could absolutely like pizza is one of my favorite. I have not had a pizza since my diagnosis, and my IG search page is filled with pizza pages. I loved watching the Food Network.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to yourself?
No, I stopped. I stopped immediately because it was torture.
I was gonna say you have to because
I have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I work out constantly, like 6-7 days a week.
Okay.
I'm undergoing treatments right now, not only natural but Western medicine and stuff like that. And I'm really honestly just trying the absolute best I can do because I don't think it's my time yet.
Yep.
I have so much more to
Offer for sure.
to do
Yeah.
with my life and stuff like that. So I don't want to hog this whole time.
No.
It's about me.
That's what we're here about, man. They
You
have to
son of a
Oh, yeah.
bitch.
It actually does segue in because and this is kind of the thing. If we say we change the life of one.
Well,
person
listen, we can
during the
talk
show,
about
right?
our habits, right?
Right.
But we have somebody at this table that absolutely had to change.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
habits,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's really beneficial.
So
There was no choice. There was a choice, I guess. And after seeing a first few oncologists that were available, I had asked about my diet. They didn't know what my diet was. My test question was, because they were new to me and I knew the answer to this, should I change my diet? And she's like, no. Like, you don't know what my diet is. She's like, just eat as much as you can, keep the weight on.
Yeah.
And although I was a small, skinny guy all my life to begin with. I've lost 35 pounds since my diagnosis.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly feeling it's weird, the healthiest and most energetic I am probably ever.
It makes the treatments go a little bit smoother with you too.
It
I'm
does,
sure. Yeah.
It does, yeah.
And you're on like Vitapaks and all
I'm on
kinds of.
vitamin and supplement
Yep.
infusions after my chemo treatments and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because I had no options for surgery. I had no options for radiation, although after reading about them, I wouldn't take them anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just been obviously nothing less than life changing.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
In the worst way possible. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I drop like it, and it changes your perspective. Like my dad will take me by treatments and stuff like that, and we have to hospital hop. Like I have to go to my cancer treatment center. I still have to go to my transplant appointments, and I see all these fast food places. I'm like poison.
Oh, yeah.
Poison.
It's identified now, no
Yeah,
matter where you
I
look.
really don't eat out much anymore.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question because I'm curious. So you go to the doctor and they say, "Cool, you're cancer free. You're in remission. Like, come 100%." Aside from a pizza, like obviously you're going to grab yourself a pizza. What are you going to keep the routines that you've been working on? All the healthy lifestyle, the veganism.
Right. So I'm gonna have my probably celebratory pizza, but even craving that pizza has changed.
Okay.
Because my view towards that pizza is changed
Yeah.
after I know what's in that pizza. And although you're not officially cured from cancer, it's called NED, no evidence of disease.
Right.
You're always at risk of it coming back.
Yeah.
And as a transplant patient, if my lungs were to fail or my transplant anti-rejection meds have a huge effect on my kidneys, if my kidneys fail, I am no longer eligible for transplant. Like you have to go through massive testing. You have to prove that you're healthy enough to survive the organ transplant, to live with longevity and not have them waste an organ on you.
Which is also not your first rodeo.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
No.
Well, man.
But,
Wow. Here's me in the morning. My back hurts. Right.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
so after my transplant, I used to work in physical therapy, and like I wouldn't be upfront about, like, everybody I worked with knew. Some of the patients I was very close with, I became friends with, and they knew. But it's like they would come in after knee surgeries and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, what I'm going through is nothing compared to what you went through." I'm like, "Listen,
Everybody's got their own
Thank you, but everybody is going through their own thing,
that's right.
and this is huge to you in your life.
Yep.
Don't compare it to mine."
Yeah.
Like,
Try not to compare yourself. like
yeah,
that.
exactly. And so
Hard
it's-
not to, though, right? I mean,
at,
hard
the,
not.
at this point, yes.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't, like, again, I don't see myself as being a victim of cancer anymore. Like, I'm really going to try to fight this wholeheartedly. and
no, you're definitely doing it.
hopefully NED within the future. But no, to answer your question, no. I can't even enjoy that pizza anymore.
Yeah.
I
You know the
will-
repercussions of that.
Oh,
food.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
why you say
It's-
you're feeling so much better, Margie, because
Yeah.
you're not eating all the processed
It's-
sugar
right,
loaded
it's-
food
That's
where
right.
your
It's
body's
the crust,
run
it's
down.
the sauce, it's the cheese,
But it all tastes
everything.
so good.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
Thinking
whatever
about it
tastes
right
good
now.
mostly is not good for
Burger
us,
or
right?
something
How
like
is that
that.
work?
Like,
It tastes
right
great.
now, I'm veggies, fruits, everything organic, nuts mainly, healthy shakes,
Yeah,
You didn't
that's
hear
what
Kathy
she said.
laugh, yeah.
healthy teas and stuff like that. But it's like everything has completely changed, and it's very difficult to. I'll go out with friends and I'll sit there at restaurants. I'll be like, oh, and like I've accepted it now, but I'm like, you're really gonna order that in front of me, teasing them? I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I'm completely used to it. But like I said, I rarely go out to eat, and now it's like asking about what oils they cook with,
Yeah.
what's in it, what everything is in it. Can you hold this? Can you hold that?
Yep.
And it's eating like this bland.
So you say
There's a
there's,
video.
there's no restaurant that I could think of that I
Sweet
would.
Green. Sweet Green is my.
Oh, okay.
Is it-
If
Yeah.
I do go out somewhere, it will be Sweet Green.
Okay.
Because they're very transparent about the amount of grams of stuff and what they use.
They give you the breakdown.
healthiness and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can choose and pick and choose like what to put in your bowl.
Yeah.
and
You,
stuff like that.
You seen Grandma's Boy?
I have not.
No,
I love that movie.
And,
Oh,
and I love Adam Sandler.
It's you got David Spade as Shiloh in the
Yes.
weird restaurant where he's
Yes.
like organic sprouts and you can do it. He's like, let's do shots. He's like, we only do shots of wheatgrass.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's a must-see movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, you would
Rivers
love it.
Boy, for sure. It's
And
hilarious.
actually, I'll check that out. But it's funny though because what's considered healthy eating for anybody else who doesn't have cancer, or what's healthy eating for somebody who does have cancer, is totally different.
Well, because you're packing on calories, right? Like you're trying to be like
I
calorie
need
dense.
to try in the cleanest, rawest way possible. It's hard because with clean eating, with the not eating processed stuff, because that's what I was taught. I was born with a genetic disease, which led to my lung transplant. And so I was taught the eat as much as you can, as whatever you can. And as kids, we thought it was cool. It was called the CF diet. Because after our doctor's appointments, we were always small and skinny, and we would go to the grocery store at the recommendation of our doctors, and it was load up on the frozen foods, the chips, the fruit snacks, the candies. And like my friends loved coming over.
You had
Like, we
everything.
played
yeah.
sports. Like we would always play sports, but we always had the snacks.
Dude, you're a fighter. That's
Dude.
awesome.
That's all.
Oh, and
that's
that's
all
good
can
because you
do.
don't. It sounds
So-
like you don't know any other way, and you know
No.
what? You're gonna adapt and overcome and do what you need to do, and that's
That's-
awesome, dude.
yeah.
Congratulations. You know,
Thank
get that mindset rolling.
So you want to talk about scary? So right before lung transplant, right? His brother had the same thing. His brother didn't make it,
He did not make it.
Damn.
and then he had to go through it. I mean, I don't know who else to compare anything to other than if you think you have it bad, your worst day is somebody's best day. So, remember that. Be appreciative of what you have.
every day.
And, true fighters out there, true fighters like Chris, they do exist. And it's motivating to me.
Well, I was just
you
gonna
know.
say you're very inspiring, and I'm just.
Yep.
I hope that everyone out there listening just really think about this. Take a couple minutes and sit back and think about the blessings that you really do have, and then think about the habits that you do have that aren't going to be positive towards what you want an
Right.
outcome in life,
Mhm.
right? And realize that in a heartbeat,
Oh yeah.
things change, right? And I should have, you
Right.
always I shoulda, coulda. Well, stop shoulda, coulda in yourself and just do what you want to do. Don't do things don't live the way that you think
Yeah.
other people think you should live. Do you? If you want to eat crappy, understand your right, but understand also making good habits makes a big.
Well, now that we let Chris hog the show, Jesus.
I'm
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, how long have you known him?
I
It's
know.
not over yet. Dude. It's not over yet.
We're definitely brothers. If you
You've
can.
got a bad habit of really laying you away.
Oh, yeah, I do that.
Hey,
I
I
do.
do.
Hey, if you're feeling a little froggy,
Oh, he
just
does.
go ahead and jump.
Chris-
I got you back.
Chris gives me shit on a 24-hour basis. If it wasn't for him, I would probably have worse habits. Really.
Well, and it's probably
It
constructive shit,
is.
and
Well,
that's good.
Well,
To a certain point.
listen.
right?
Chris was the guy that you can't leave your cell phone unattended to.
Oh,
Because
you're
he
one of
would
them,
get it
huh?
and start posting on Facebook as you, and it could go really south
All right.
really quick.
I said you were inspiring. Now you're
So,
irritating.
Everybody, be careful of leaving your phone.
Yeah, don't leave your phone around, Chris. Next thing you know, you have 32 dates on Tinder.
That's right. Worse than
And
that.
you're selling a lot
Right.
of stuff on
My
Facebook
phone died.
Marketplace.
Can I borrow
No,
your
absolutely not. We'll make the call for you.
Get them watching news.
You're like, man, I
No,
see
I
four of
stopped
these
watching-
microphones on
I stopped
Facebook
watching
Marketplace.
political news,
Fucking
TV,
buy.
That's right.
about politics, but it's just it's toxic to the body and the mind.
Mhm.
But what I was watching is CNBC for investment reports because I did take a leave from real estate, but I've always wanted to learn options, the options market and stuff
Perfect
like that.
time.
But exactly, but I never did because I was so slammed. Like I said, I was a workaholic. I was so slammed
Yep.
in real estate. Everybody knows this. I was 24/7 go, 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 go. And so now that I have that unfortunate breather from real, I still love real estate. I love all my clients. Like they become friends and stuff like that. But it gave me the chance to learn something that I really want to do on top of all the hours I've spent researching cancer stuff and treatments and cancer theories and all that sort of stuff to the point where it's annoying. Like I cannot get through a whole movie without something popping into my brain, me pulling it up on the phone, being like, oh, what about this? And then like spending hours and like, I just missed the movie.
Yeah. Well,
So what?
Movie
reading
will be there.
something that's just-
Yeah.
something-
No, it's true, but you
you're
also,
educating
And
you
yourself.
also
Never
yeah,
stop
right.
learning.
But also, you do need to be able to learn
Free your
to
brain.
relax yourself.
Yeah.
yeah.
You gotta take
And
that
just
off.
yeah, exactly. Because again, it's that go and stuff
That's
like that.
what. That's why you worked so much. That was freeing to your brain, whether you realize.
Right,
You,
no,
thought it.
yeah.
You trained yourself.
to think that.
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
You
the same
programmed
way,
yourself.
right? Like no. You
It's
know,
not life. It's
Everyone
not.
always telling it's like, God, I love what I do. Well, I do love what I do, but I also love not
I do, but yeah.
doing that too.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
love being out in my
There
garage. I
are
mean, if I'm not
aspects.
working, I'm in my garage.
Experience of
Yeah.
different things.
There are aspects like I love working with the clients the best. The paperwork.
Let me just tell you from my perspective,
And you
I
know
think
how
you're
it
nuts. I thought about becoming a realtor for years.
Oh, yeah.
And as much as I did like it, I don't want to be a realtor, a psychologist, a freaking babysitter. You know what I mean? Because you guys have to deal with so many different levels. You know,
Right,
salesperson. That it's
Yeah.
multifaceted.
It's not a 9 to 5.
No, and it's not done until literally that last signature goes.
Right.
you.
Right.
I would be sitting at like,
It's no wonder you're always on high alert. Like
Uh,
phone rings, deal's falling apart. Shit,
No, yeah,
if I got a new
exactly.
client, it's deal's falling apart.
I would be sitting at friends' houses, literally.
That was a
to the-
bad habit.
Off to the, absolutely off to the side with my computer because I needed to get an offer in for my client. Otherwise, they may miss out on this house.
Mhm.
That's how bad.
That's
it
a high
was.
stress. That's a high stress. job,
Very,
dude.
very high
You
stress.
make your own. You make your own outfit. It's
Now-
super high stress.
Right now, on the flip side, the high stress comes with dealing with hospitals, dealing with insurance companies when your life is on the
watching. It's my
line,
mom.
and it shouldn't be that way. Like our
Right. You shouldn't have to
Our
focus
medical
on anything
care
but
system.
taking care
Right,
of yourself.
exactly.
Not,
She didn't want
And
to
that's-
comment that
right.
don't get us going on our system.
No,
we
I
don't talk
know.
politics.
Right,
here.
yeah. My
But we would
apologies.
there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and that's got to
But
be
it's-
frustrating.
it
But
is. That's why it's like it's go, and then weekends I'll take some time. When
but you basically have
everything
changed your,
goes.
your whole life realistically
Oh, yeah.
since it's happened.
Absolutely.
And you're learning new habits. You're learning
Yeah.
how to cope and make it work, and refreshing, and and that's good.
So what
Not
habit?
why, but
So what habit do you think you have that you would like to either change or swap?
Well, I mean, actually, with the definition, would being a control freak be a habit, or would that just be a
I
control
think it's a
freak?
It
personality.
just makes you an asshole.
Yeah, personality
Well,
flaw.
No, but I hear right. But I mean,
I
so
think that's
I
a personality trait.
because I like
Yeah.
it could be okay. I was going to say because that's the big thing for
But,
me. A
but
habit
habits
for me
come
that-
with it.
right,
Habits come
right.
with it.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
habits could because for me, I like to know where my outcome is. Like I like to make sure I can plan it from start to finish. I realize it's not possible ever, but you can try to control as many things. Notice I word said try.
Right.
Try to control as many facets of whatever you're doing as possible and hope for the best outcome. But for me, my bad habit, it is a bad habit for me, is because like Kent, we talked about this quite a bit, which is he's just a brilliant man, but just as far as just kind of let it just go, it is what it is. Let it
Yeah.
go. You know what I mean? Accept it, move, and
Yeah. Well, Kent and I talked the other day. He says he's going to stop tugging Tommy for a while. It's a bad habit for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
well, but you know what I mean? It's
renamed it to Bill.
but that's a bad habit for me, right? Because and it's not even just my stuff. Obviously, you need to control you, but
Yeah.
with kids, right? Once again, Kent, just you gave them the tools, let them do it. But it's the first thing that somebody else might like. Zachary will say something to me, and I'll go, want to just jump in and interject and go, well, why? You know what I mean? And that's the bad habit maybe for me is trying to tell you what to do. I
Yeah.
guess maybe that would be the bad habit, right? Because
Yeah.
it's not control, but I don't want to see people fail.
You try
doing
so
something that I can
hard
tell
to
them-
fill in the blank for them
Right.
that it just continues. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
and
I'm
that's-
guilty of that too.
Right, and that's because out of love for me. It's
You
not
do it-
right,
And we all know that.
right. Well,
Until
right,
we
but
all
it is out of love, but it
then when
doesn't
you
come
leave, we're
across-
like, this
right.
fucking guy.
But it doesn't
No,
come across that way a lot of times,
Well,
and
sometimes
that's
yeah.
frustrating. So
Well, so that's something that at least you're aware of it. You're already in the right step of being able to adjust it, right?
correct, but it's it's one of those habits that it is hard to break because it's out of love, and I actually have to look at it and going, for out of love, just shut your fucking mouth. you know,
Yeah,
and
I
that's a
get it.
tough
I
one
get
for
it.
me, right? Because I'm trying to be what I wanted so much when I was younger. Would have appreciated.
You're trying to perfect your character, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
I don't know
called
about
on.
perfect, but definitely become the best person I.
It'll be an
possibly can.
ongoing battle, but yes, you
Yeah,
are trying to
until-
perfect
yeah,
your character.
Yeah, until
100%. What about you, Steve? What do you want to? What do you want to swap, if anything?
So I only really have one habit, and it's the vape.
Okay.
So I have a routine.
I would
I was just gonna say, Ken, can
see,
we tune in over here?
I don't like. I feel like we've been using the word habit and routine interchangeably, but they're not interchangeable. So I
Okay.
have a routine. It's not a habit. I have to work very hard on my healthy routine. It is not a habit. It is not second nature. Even drinking coffee, like it's a conscious decision in the morning. Like I'm not pouring the coffee and just drinking it. I'm like, do I want coffee this morning? Usually the answer is yes, but it's like that's not an. I consciously make that decision. I consciously make a lot of decisions. You gotta.
when you put your pants on, do you put your left leg in first or your right?
I always put the left in first.
You gotta-
That is a habit. That is a habit.
Switch it
Yep.
up. You gotta
I
switch
put
it up.
I usually put the middle
Like it.
middle in first.
But
Sometimes I don't wear pants.
yeah, I jump in 2 legs at a time.
Yeah.
It's the only way to start your day.
I wear muumuu.
Anything.
But yeah, small habits like that, unhealthy habits that I have. There's only one that I would change. My eating habits again. It's not so much a habit as it is a routine. I get into we meal plan, so it's we could meal plan better, but it's still planned out. It's not just grabbing something out of the fridge and snacking on it because I'm hungry or because I need something in my mouth. Like we buy the groceries, we do the list ahead of time. So
You're lucky he doesn't have a microphone.
yeah,
'cause
and
you already
like-
said having something in your mouth. You know he's already
I know, I was
he's
thinking
already
the same
stewing.
thing.
You know that.
well, and like I would like to work out more. That's part of, I have to build that into my routine. I try, but I can too easily tell myself that I don't have to. I can skip a day or it's a mental thing for me.
Here he comes. Hey, just let me tell you something. You got to stop trying and just do, honestly, because every time somebody says try, you're just mentally screwing yourself. It's just like saying, I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. You don't try. If you're going to do it, people always say, I'll do it tomorrow. No, start now.
So
Don't try
to
and do
take
it.
any habit that you want to change, it's 100% your mindset. You have to change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And if you can't do that, the habit will never change. That's why I say I need to work out. But your fixed mindset says, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I need, right? So Chris goes into a growth mindset now going, all right, I've got to grow. I've got to change. There's things I have to do. So until you go from that, I want to quit smoking. Well, when you want to make that change at your mindset, it has to go in from a fix to a growth. And you have to say, I have to grow through this. And if I don't grow through this, it's that habit won't change no matter what it is. That's it.
No?
Goodbye. Thank you for visiting, Tim. We really
Congrats.
Wise words.
I told you.
Wise
stop-
words.
I'm looking forward to the book.
Hey, Kent, do you want to just text me the little jokes you want to throw at Steve, and I'll just 30 seconds
Yeah.
later be like, yeah, a what in the mouth?
You got to cite the page numbers from your book that you
That's
were
right.
quoting.
That's
I
right.
can't wait to read it. Actually, Kent's a very
Let me
insightful
throw out
individual,
for
but he's a bad habit.
for Don and Shayna, if there's what about you guys? Go ahead and throw it in the chat. Is there something out there that you do that you'd like to change on a habit or swap, or
Yeah, Don-
have you done, and how did you do it?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to get another perspective of it.
Don just said the same thing I
I
just
love
said. Dude,
Dan, yeah.
there is no try, only do.
Quoting
Because
Yoda.
every time you try, you're pushing it off, right? That's a bad habit.
It
So listen, hold on. That's
worked
a
for
bad
Yoda,
habit,
but
right,
in reality, it doesn't
Right.
actually make any
but you
sense.
work- no, it does.
No,
because
it
I'm gonna try.
it doesn't.
I'm gonna try to wash my car. Hold on, I'm gonna try to wash my car. You don't
For you
wash your car, you just go out and do it.
Right,
You don't
but
try to do it, you do it.
Yoda.
And that's where you change it.
in the process of doing so, you're trying to do so. You're putting in the effort to wash your car. That's why your car is clean. If you didn't try, if you wanted to wash your car and then you didn't try to wash your car wouldn't be clean. You'd never wash your car. You still have to
You
try.
don't try.
It's a phrasing thing. It
Uh,
worked for Yoda.
I think trying
It's-
regards the consciousness of it, whereas because I've tried
I don't know where that hand's been.
for years and decades to like get to the gym more and stuff like that, but I always despise like working out and stuff like that. I was more into the competitive sports like tennis and stuff like that. But if you just like don't even think about it. You just like set the alarm. Maybe you hit snooze a couple times. That's okay, but still, it's like
You do it.
don't eat. You just get dressed. You go and you do it, and it's getting there is 3/4 of the battle, and then you're
For me,
you're
that's
in the
half
middle
the
of doing
battle.
it.
Yeah.
You can pop in your earbuds, listen to a podcast or an Audible book or something like that, music, whatever gets you going.
Yep.
And then you feel so much better coming out. I'm like, yeah, I know I had a time set, but I kind of wish the workout was longer. Like I look
Well-
forward to some of it being over.
And
Like
you left, you felt accomplished. You
cardio
felt like
and
you
stuff
did
like-
it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What about the nuance habits? Like, I have to keep doing this because I feel like I have to do it. Now, listen, in my house, we have a challenge with OCD and germophobia, my daughter. So you want to talk about severe habits. My youngest, I'm not going to go through all of it online, but let's just say you feel like you absolutely have to do something, otherwise you feel like something bad will happen. Or let's just say you have to wash your hands with a different bar of soap and then wash the soap. Think about what I just said there. You feel like you have to wash the soap, so you do. Now, is that a habit? I mean, intrusive thinking is habit forming. So what would your, man, I wish you had a mic. What would your thoughts be to something like that? Do you chew your nails? Listen, I'm a smoker and I love smoking.
So let me ask you this. So
I
do
don't
you
want to
think
quit,
it's-
but I have to quit.
do you think like with your daughter, right? Like that you get her into a good routine that keeps her away from her bad habit, right? So if she has a routine and has to do the same thing every day and does it, it keeps her away from the bad habit of wanting to wash the soap per se. And that's the only thing I can think of offhand. But whatever one of her bad habits might be, if she's in a routine that keeps her going, can that push her away from
The hard
habit?
thing is she dictates the routine. There's nothing we can
You
do.
guys, okay?
There's nothing you can do. Although we tried that. So otherwise you get the one kid that you think, remember when you were young and you eat those vegetables. This is a bad example, but you eat those vegetables or you don't leave the table. My kid would sit there for a week.
Strong-headed.
Well, that's the thing. It's like
It's not strong-headed. It's just she thinks that she has to do that. She will not.
and it's negative. That's negative reinforcement.
It's in
And
true.
so then they look at veggies and they're like, "Ooh."
Right.
Like all these years, like growing up, I heard Brussels sprouts were disgusting and gross.
Oh, me too, man.
And
Holy
like I
char.
finally tried them. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like,
Yeah.
actually
Oh, they're
pretty
awesome.
good.
You char those guys up a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All
You got
day.
a little bit of char and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, but intrusive thinking. So part of OCD is intrusive thinking. You know, when you're OCD, you have to. So she's OCD, OCPD. There's a perfection disorder as well as OCD and germophobia. So like she was at the studio yesterday. This place is deemed dirty. So if she gets home, she is stuck at the door because she feels that if she steps on the floor is touching the walls. The walls are touching the furniture, and so everything is now deemed.
Well, that's
Dirty.
I mean, that's a diagnosis as well.
Correct.
Slash
Correct.
disorder. Yeah.
Right.
And not necessarily habit, but you have to understand. So like, if you want to break a habit, you have to move into intentional living. Right? Chris now is living with intention.
Correct.
You understand? A lot of people don't, and that's
No.
where the quote unquote bad habits will come from.
Right.
Because I'm in the moment, and the triple layer burrito from
Bell.
Taco Bell, which is poison,
Ugh.
it is going to set off some
Yeah.
endorphins.
Taco
for me
Bell,
and make
period.
me feel good in the moment because I'm
Right.
not intentionally living.
Right. Yeah.
So if you really want to change habits, you have to be very mindful and in the present, but intentional with what you do. Take a look at a bodybuilder. Very intentional with how they do. I'm not impressed with what they do with their body. I'm impressed with what they do.
Their mind to
yeah.
get to the
Yeah,
work
yeah,
they
yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
it. Absolutely. It's discipline.
The
Discipline.
dedication.
Right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
live
The
very
discipline.
intentional.
Yeah.
You look at a SEAL team member. Everything they do is very intentional from their from their diet to their workouts to how they approach. I mean, it's very, very intentional.
Yeah, it's structured.
But most Americans, we could go back 40 years now, maybe 50 years, and that you got made fun of because you were the fat guy. Now Chris gets made fun of because he's the skinny guy, right?
Well, he labeled that out pretty goddamn well, didn't
Wow, all my life.
Living intentionally, and we
Right.
started being lazy and going to these places where, hey,
Convenient.
There's a
Fast.
restaurant called with Golden Arches that says our burgers are 100% pure beef. That's the name of the company they buy it from.
Right.
Yeah.
Pure beef.
Right. Which is probably baby. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
You
if,
know.
The Z meat from TB. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the name.
if you are trying to change habit, you have to live very, very intentionally.
Yep.
And where it used to, the smell and things like that. Absolutely, I'm with you. I've cut out sugar. I've cut out sodas. I've cut out a lot of things. And the first 3 weeks is hard as shit.
Yeah, it's brutal.
I don't
It's
know.
absolutely brutal. I'm in the midst of it right now.
Right. So the first 3 weeks is hard as shit. But then if you go and you have that little Debbie
Once
zebra
you get
cake,
over that hill,
gives you the runs because your body has
It's right.
but
It
doesn't
makes
know what to
it-
do with
yeah,
it. Right.
has gotten rid of it.
Yeah, it's poison.
So to take any habit or lifestyle, you have to be intentional with what you're doing, and your mindset has to go from that I'm okay to this, because what people will do to your point is, I'm going to go to the gym today. It's on my calendar, and then you're like, I'm okay. You know what? I'm all right, and you're not living.
I'll try to get there tomorrow.
Right. And so to replace habits, or what we would consider quote unquote bad habits, is you have to understand, be mindful. So what is it that triggered that? Why do I think that I need that? Right. We talked about smoking. When people get nervous, they smoke because it's not the nicotine, it's that deep breath that calms them
Diaphragmatic
down.
breathing.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't even realize. Yep. Hold it, blow it out. Right.
And then it helps chemicals up here. and
Yes.
stuff like that, yeah.
Right. And so
It releases all endorphins to your amygdala.
it's
so your
very-
amygdala shuts down.
it ain't easy. Right.
No.
If it was easy, then there
Nothing
wouldn't
easy.
be any bad
Yeah,
habits.
nothing.
But as we've become the product that's sold now,
Yep.
we're being marketed to all of these, that's why all these social medias gather all your information. And that's why everything you talk about shows up on your media stream, because we are now the product. Right. And then we bought into a society where it's go, 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 go.
Yep.
So I can't make dinner anymore. So let me get frozen dinner. We'll throw it in the air fryer. Air fryer is very healthy because it's air. But the
Instead of
frozen,
oil,
you know what I mean? But the frozen food that you bought can live through the Holocaust, these chicken nuggets are what happens.
Twinkies.
So our world wants easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's wanting
Well,
to work hard at a
and-
life.
Kent's exactly right. Spot on. Like I was being dragged through life. Like I'd be working 10, 12 hours a day. I'd be an hour and a half, 2 hours away. I'm like, I need to first drive home, and then I have all this hours of paperwork to do for this client. I'll just stop at McDonald's because I cannot go home. I don't have the energy to
No, it's
prepare.
easy.
Right. I don't have the energy to prepare. And I'm single. I don't have kids or anything like that. But like people that do have kids, I know they're just like so exhausted.
Yeah.
Like they're working. And it's like, I don't have time to cook for the kids, and not denigrating them. It's like, it's a lifestyle that we're trained to
Yep.
lead. And whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 jobs or whatever like that,
Right.
you don't have the energy to live healthfully. And then we're either always living in the past or living in the future, but you have to learn to live in the present. And I was living in probably both. The past a lot. I've had a lot of, like Drew said, I've lost my brother to transplant. I lost my mom to cancer. And then, so but it was like, looking back, it was just like
Yeah.
trauma and stuff like that.
What's the old blues song? If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck.
Luck
at
at
all.
all. Yeah.
Born under a bad.
But yeah,
sign.
you're no different than most people. You know, you're looking back at what you fucked up and wanting to change it. You're also worried about the future instead of just be appreciative
Right.
for the
Of what you
thing.
have.
And, and for me, you asked that question earlier, the control, and actually that would probably be the habit I'd want to change. The worst one, right? Because I do that a lot.
Shift your mindset.
I am. I am. I've been working on it. It's a slow process. It is a muscle memory, right? Like I catch myself all the time. Go, stop. You know what I mean? This is where you need to be. You're right. Like right now, you know, I got a lot to do today, but I'm jamming. But my mind keeps wanting to fucking jump to later today as much as interest, you know, and it's not from disinterest. It's just my mind has been trained to try. Now, this is the only thing you can say, try. My mind is trying to do a bunch of things at once well, and it's not, and it's detrimental to me. So being able to fit myself and keep myself in this position in this time, you know, obviously being mindful of what's going to happen in the future, because my choices and the habits that I have right now are going to shape that, you know, so
Yeah, I mean, Og Mandino, one of my favorite authors, right? I mean, that's what he says is, you know, every day you wake up is live it like it's your last. I mean, you really don't know to what Bob's saying there. Is today is all we really have.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I get up, you know, your body needs rest. That's 100%. Your eyes waking up in the morning is a gift from God.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And with since Chris was diagnosed with this, you know, and Matt Barafato, the Purpose Hunter,
Right, the
will
Purpose
say
Hunter,
we
yeah.
don't know our checkout date, the COD, right? And then the doctors are going to be like, well, there's the finish line, right? They don't really know either,
bullshit,
right? John Siskey is a good friend of mine. God rest his soul. A year younger than me, so he's 54, and he died last week, right?
Oh my
Just
God,
his
I'm
son
so
came
sorry.
home, found him. I mean, you don't know,
I'm so sorry.
Right.
right?
You don't.
So what happens is, you know, when somebody close to you in your circle of life, something happens, you know, like Uncle Pete and Ron, these guys were, you know, mentors of mine and friends of mine. And, you know, you go, wait a minute, my eyes open today. Thank you. Right?
Here's the big thing though, is keeping those eyes open. It's a lot of times we take something like Pete dying or people dying and stuff to open your eyes, but then they slowly.
Well, that's
slowly
not only that, like
back by
if-
the way things are.
right. If it doesn't wake you up, or you're not in that correct mindset, or you don't get in that right mindset, it could spiral you too. You
Well,
have
right.
a choice. Like
correct.
if somebody close,
Well,
if somebody close to you,
That's a choice.
unfortunately checks out early, like you can either spiral down or be like, hey, listen, I need to make some changes and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just go into the growth mindset.
And that's that intentional living
Yeah.
is when you have to go, okay, I have to do this. I have to change
Staying
this.
in the
And,
moment.
and unfortunately, it doesn't become intentional until somebody's like, guess what? It's got to be, or else.
Right.
Right.
When you get, it says, okay, now it's a do. You know.
So yeah.
And that's for me, like I was saying, the mindful, the being in the moment instead of doing that.
Yeah.
And that's a good one. It's just, you know, trying to teach people. So the muscle memory, it's everything, you know, it's the intention of doing it and trying
Right.
to get your mind to reset it to,
I mean,
go, this is the habit I want. And maybe having those reasons behind wanting to reset or change it and reminding, you know, even some people put the notes on the wall. Some people hate that, but for some people they need that, you know, or a picture, you know, if their bad habit is eating food late and, you know, or bad food,
Oh, yeah,
sticking
yeah.
a picture of, you know, your heaviest on the refrigerator or something like that to kind of spur yourself to remember going, okay, I remember why I'm doing this. My intention is great. Now let's change my muscle memory. Like you said, when we were talking habits last week, if you look at, you know, eating at night, like it's between what you're saying, 9:40,
Yeah.
9
What's
or
the
9,
trigger?
9:40. What's the trigger, right?
the antecedent. What's the
That's
antecedent?
right.
That's
What,
a big word.
it is a big word. I like that one.
What's
I
the
cut
trigger?
it off at
But yeah, what's your trigger? What's starting you
Yeah.
on and why
Yeah,
are you
what
not?
8 p.m.
Hey.
Just reminding you of the intentions that you're set to live a better life, to live a more intense life, whatever it may be, but something to remind you, you know, that's what
Right. So
accountability partners or whatever.
So yeah, so you know, like last night after the game, we stopped at BurgerFi out in Des Plaines or whatever, right?
Never heard of
BurgerFi
that.
is supposed to
Nice.
be pretty healthy for you. They use steroid-free beef and blah, 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 right?
Sure.
And I'm sitting there, and it's 8:00, and I'm like, I haven't eaten anything. I know I have to eat something. So I went with their Beyond Burger. It was all plant-based, you know, and it you know, you look at the ingredients and it's clean ingredients, and you're just like, oh, all right, well, I'll do that. And sometimes you're like, but obviously they cooked it on the same grill with the hamburgers.
that, the bun,
Right.
the white flour.
So
I
so it
think
was
about the bun
so
and
it,
flour.
so it was so it was delicious to me because it tasted like a
when you were
a burger.
starved, right? You were
You know.
starved, and you.
But it was better than probably eating a greasy hamburger. You know, what I would say, right?
Yeah.
What I would categorize. But
Yeah.
but the idea is, you know, when you look at that, you know, we remember when Subway was the big thing. People started doing the Jared diet before he.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We understand why.
Fried donuts.
We understand why it's in that.
I almost forgot about that
I
one.
understand why it's
Subway
in that.
diet, huh?
Yeah, right. And it exploded.
Yeah.
Well, it's all processed meats.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
all processed. It's
Which-
garbage for you.
Yeah. If you look at how it's made and
Right.
like it's not really meat at all. Like it's
Right.
really bad for you.
Yeah.
Like, horrible. Like all sorts of carcinogens.
And
in
then
there.
people and
Terrible.
and then if
Which I
more
love
people
sandwiches.
if more people knew what that really does to you and how bad it is, you know, a lot of people I talk to, I ask them about the gut microbiome. I'm sure you've talked about that going through your your struggles, and how, I mean, that is us. Your gut microbiome basically is everything to you.
Yeah.
What you put in your belly, you know, what did your parents say? You are what you eat, right? Or grandparents, right? You are what you eat. You know, and so if you're not getting that dialed in, that stuff tasted great. You got that chemical rush, right? But you're gonna pay for that down the way.
I wonder why that guy's name is Dick.
See now, and the tough thing is, I was really working my gut biome prior to transplant. Like I
Yeah.
was taking probiotics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then because of my transplant, I was told to stop probiotics because it would increase my immune system and then possibly push me into rejection.
Isn't that crazy?
And then
Right.
and
Yeah.
then
Get
so
your body
now-
healthy. You stop taking
Right.
healthy stuff for
and
your
then now
body.
here I am, and then
To take
now we got to balance my chemo treatments with my anti-rejection meds, and hope I don't get pushed into rejection. Hope I don't lose out to the cancer and all that. It's insane to me, and it like the Western diet, the Western medical system, and all that sort of stuff. Like it's not.
Western diet.
I mean, bacon,
Horrible.
everybody
Yeah.
everybody loves
Yeah.
bacon, but pig is the closest thing to human. So your body actually kind of thinks you're eating itself on that.
But they're down in the mud. They're
Yeah.
they're
Oh.
eating crap and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're not eating grass. I'll tell you
No,
that.
yeah.
They're eating dead dead people.
That's a good,
There you go.
that's a
They're
good
eating dead-
advertising
they're-
slogan.
They're eating dead people that get thrown in there. You know what I'm talking about, Drew.
Intentional shit fed. Only high quality poop fed, beef or pork.
But there's a good like miniseries or documentary on Netflix called Foods in the Blue Zone or something.
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
they look
Yeah,
at
I love
over
that.
100
And it's
years
like-
old.
Watch
It's
that.
the
Like-
Mediterranean diet.
They do beans
Right.
or something like that, but they know how to pair.
Yep.
So how it breaks down and is
Yep,
healthy
and they
for your
walk.
body. Yeah.
They all have the
constantly
same
walk,
skills,
yeah.
right? Friends,
That's what- yeah.
food,
They're digging in the dirt
A
every
purpose.
day.
They meet for dinner for
exercise, right?
community.
They all had like 5 things in common. I love that. In
That
the
is
blue.
great. That
Yeah,
is
into the blue, people that lived to the octa.
up to 100 or something. like that.
Right, but yeah, that was great. Kat and I we actually talked to almost an entire show on that one.
Yeah.
And food is it. It's 100%.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
It's true though, Don. There's research on that with the pork.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's
To
poop
me, like I said last week, I don't think there's such a thing as a bad habit, right? I think we label things as bad habit because we're quote unquote think it's bad for us, but there's a reason that you're doing those habits, right? But if you want to change a quote unquote, that's why I air quote everything quote unquote bad habit. The first thing is you got to be mindful. You know what's causing it, what's the trigger, what's happening, why, what rush am I getting from this, right? Not a lot of people are going to think the reason that I smoke is just to, take that deep breath and calm down. But they're like, oh, I need that right now. On the other side of things, anytime you get in your car, a lot of people smoke in their car because it's it's a habit. That would be a habit.
After meals, I mean,
Right. So, when you take a look at those things, it's yeah.
Oh, that morning coffee.
I have two.
That morning coffee smoke or that second or third beer smoke is like the hardest smoke to not
Not
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
That third beer smoke is probably the most impossible one to give up.
impossible.
Because you're 3 beers deep. You're like, you know what? That mindfulness doesn't seem that important anymore.
That's right.
Fucking, I was mindful 3 beers ago.
That's
I
right.
wasn't smoking.
That's right.
Liquor's doing its job, baby.
So it's to you got to change that. The very biggest thing is changing your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth
mindset,
right?
yep.
And Chris is the poster child for that. He's like, oh, I can't stay fixed right now. I have to grow.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is you actually have to want to. You have to want to, right? Like a lot of people will change things or want to change things because of the perception of other people or even what people tell them, right? I mean, you can't quit smoking unless you absolutely want to quit smoking.
Yeah.
If just because you know it's bad for you, you're not going to do it, right? Your wife, let's say your wife is on you. You're not. You want to for them, but you can't until your mindset. You want to change that.
If you want to lose weight, the best way to lose weight is to take a paper bag and cut 2 eye holes out of it and put the paper bag over your face and look at yourself in the mirror. Because your mind your mind will see your body, it won't see your face. As soon as your mind sees your face, it goes, oh, that's me. I'm okay. I look good.
Dude, I'm gonna go try that today.
And
I do that every Sunday.
I was gonna say, Drew doesn't do it for that reason.
Your wife makes you do that.
but
That's how he's got multiple kids.
From Scott's story.
But
That's an interest.
But it's true because you don't recognize you, right? And so then you look at that body and you go, ooh, right? There's times where you maybe have
go, ooh,
not if you want to lose weight. It's a weird trick, and it's been psychologically proven. They've done studies on it, and it's then you really get a true feel of, oh, I'm not that good, because in any picture, the first thing you look at is your face. Any picture, you go back to any picture and you find your face, and then you go, oh, hey, I looked pretty good in that picture.
Even out of a group of people.
That's correct. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So by understanding that you know how the tricks you can play on your mind, because you won't look as good. You'll be the old fat guy at the YMCA, naked, walking around and putting his leg up on the bench. That's just that's what it is.
Oh, you
Who doesn't want to be that guy?
Now I know.
Have to change the subject, but I just love the way he says naked.
Naked.
I'm trying to figure. Somebody said that in my life when I was younger, and it just cracked me up. And he lays it out there, and it just totally brought me back to childhood.
True, right? So there's a lot of weird things and
Craziness on here,
and it ain't easy.
my friend. It don't matter what you're doing, what you're talking about.
But here's the thing, to what Drew and Chris said earlier, it ain't easy until it has to be.
We're right.
And then
When you have no choice,
and then
Well.
and then you can look back and go, oh shit, I should have. To your point, but the thing is, you got to focus on the present. You're very mindful, and as you move through that day and move through that week, I think that's where your mindset changes go. It's got to be intentional living. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? What effect is this going to have on me, long run, or the people around me?
Right.
This may be
100%.
That's to me that's the baseline for
100%.
for changing a bad habit. That's just me. Yeah. What did we name the book? I forgot.
Yeah, right. Oh, you didn't write that down? Oh, Jesus.
no.
I gave him an awesome title last week. It'll come back, but man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just curious, right?
Yeah. Or what? Yeah. So, but man, what a great time today, Chris. Thanks for stopping in with us and hanging
Thank
out.
you guys
with
very
us.
much
You're
for
welcome.
having me.
Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just sit here and BS, obviously.
Or
and go all
link
over.
in wherever you're at. Whatever.
Yeah, you can watch us wherever you're at.
Yeah, listen, we got to bounce, but big shout out again
Or
to
roll.
It's been rolling on the bottom all show, Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.McKinnon Massage, and JH Events and Flowers. $5 Friday today. Go out and buy $5 for the Super Bowl. Today is Steph and Joe back live in the studio and talking about the Super Bowl, all things Super Bowl, pageantry, commercials, all that kind of good stuff, and a little twist on what it does for businesses. So yeah, come back at 3.
Hey, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate you every week. Go out there and be the change you want to see in the world, and work hard and be nice to people, man. Just keep it simple, stupid. We thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and, if you guys could like, share, subscribe, share us with all your friends. We're just changing one person one time. Just if we can help one person in the world, I'm happy,
Yep.
right? Thanks, guys. Have a great
216 Creative Studios, your gateway to professional podcasting. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just starting, 216 Creator Studios offers state-of-the-art podcast studios designed to meet all your recording needs. From crystal clear audio quality to a comfortable creative space, we've got you covered. With fully equipped rooms, expert support, and flexible booking options, you can focus on what matters most, your content. Join us and bring your voice to life in the best environment for podcast creation. 216 Creator Studios is here to help you create something extraordinary.